Hello and welcome back to the Novice Lumberjack, where in this episode we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Boots. That's right, boots. I have made what I would consider to be the ultimate logger boot, right? I started with something that was never meant to be a logger boot, and I turned it into what I think is a logger boot, and it works great. And so, but we're going to hold off on this for a second. And we're going to talk about how to get your feet to stop hurting. All right. Now, if you want to do this, it's going to take effort on your part and it's going to take money. And if you're not willing to give up both of those things, then you should probably just learn to suffer with aching feet. First thing, let's talk about the effort. Okay. Now, this is a hard truth that you know, but I'm going to say it. All right, lose some weight. I weigh about 215 pounds completely naked. And if I weighed 185, I'd have a lot less foot pain. Now, I know that this is not the only thing that causes foot pain. However, it tremendously amplifies your foot pain. Tremendously amplifies it. Why is that? Well, it's pretty much common sense. You're carrying around 70 pounds or more than you should be. And in my case, like literally, I think my ideal weight, honestly, my ideal weight is 195. If I go below that, I'm losing muscle mass. I give myself a hard time about my weight because I was in the military, and you know, right now in this shape that I'm in, if I was still in the military, I would be on what we referred to as the Fat Boy program. And I would be forced to check in and check out and do to the gym and work out and go on diet restrictions, all kinds of stuff. But in the civilian world, I'm not really a fat ass, at least not in America, but I still consider myself a fat ass. So anyways, enough of that. Lose weight. It's common sense. We know it. Don't get hurt over it. Listen, this is an epidemic in the United States of America. If you don't think that this is true, go outside of the United States of America and you'll be like, where'd all the fat people go? We're a country full of fat asses. That's just the truth. And there you have it. So moving on. The next step, all right, we know that you got to lose some weight. It's really going to help out. It's really going to be beneficial to lose some weight. The next step is proper footwear, all right? Marketing has told us all kinds of different things about footwear and what it takes to have comfortable footwear. Now, I do have some tennis shoes that have this big, I got some, Asics. I've got some Asics that have this big marshmallow sole on them. And yeah, I can wear those all day long and I have minimal foot pain. Okay, so they work, they do. But with boots, nearly all of our boots are made in a different country, and they're just put together in a way that's appealing for us to purchase. You know, that's really it. And so you got to know what actually works. And long story short, through years and years of trial and error, nothing was working for me. I did a factory job where I was on concrete all day long, every day, sometimes 70 hours a week. And my feet killed me. And I was buying, you know, at that time, $250 Tony Lama slip-on work boots, you know, cowboy style work boots. I tried all kinds of different models, Rocky, Georgia boots, you name it. Nothing worked. Then just basically because of style, I got a different job. I started working as a video editor, had an office job, and I bought a pair of boots that were, because I really like boots. You know, if I'm wearing pants, I got boots on, almost guaranteed. If it's too hot and I need shorts, even still, sometimes I'll wear these boots because they're short enough. I think I can get away with it in shorts. But anyways, I purchased these. These are Red Wing Beckmans, right? And they need some polish on them right now. But I was capable of wearing these in, slacks and stuff, and they looked appropriate. Well, what I noticed was my feet stopped hurting. And now I put a lot of blame on that with the office job that I now had, and I was sitting on my ass more than I was standing on my feet. And so, but over the years, other things happened. I got other boots and stuff, and what I learned was the insole is hard leather. Hard leather. Now, that right there is so hard. Listen to this. Oh, I got this. I'm flicking it. It's like flicking this desk. It's hard as a rock, I don't know, hard as pine. I'll put it that way. It's hard, right? And I was like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that such a hard insole and a hard outsole is giving me comfort. It doesn't make any sense at all. But I like the boots. They broke in nicely and were really, really comfortable. So my very next pair of boots that were actually work boots were these. Again, these are Red Wings, and these are, I think they're Roughnecks. Right? Look at that. That's leather. It's just leather, and it's hard and slick. Listen to that. That is really hard. And I had these resoled with this wedge sole, because I like that. And we'll get onto that, more of that. But these, man, I've put some miles on these. This is a dual compound. They call this a Christie sole or a crepe sole, and it is a wedge design. So they also call it wedge. But this is a dual compound. Soft in the middle, or softish, and then hard rubber on the outside so that they last longer. I've had these for years. I think like 7 or 8 years, maybe more. And man, I've worn them. But it's time for them to get resold or thrown out or something. But I think I'll resole them. I like keeping my boots. And again, hard insole, they were comfortable. All right. Then I bought me a pair of Iron Rangers. Now these have just recently been resold, because with these Iron Rangers, I found that they did hurt my feet, even though it has that leather insole as well. Right? Well, why did these hurt my feet and these Beckmans did not? I blamed it on the outsole that these had, which was a really, really hard rubber. Really hard rubber all the way through, just the hardest rubber that you could imagine, all the way through. And so I blamed it on those not allowing the leather footbed to flex like it needed to. I put these Christie soles on there, bada bing, bada boom, fixed it, right? These are now, I can wear these all day long. Comfort, comfort, comfort. Really great. Love them now. But you go, well, what about regular boots, Bodie? I've got plenty of regular boots. Regular boots like, just slip-on cowboy boots. I've got a pair of Ariats. Those are pretty nice. I got Tony Lamas. I've had tremendous amounts all over the place. And I switch out my insert and all that stuff and to a gel insert, Dr. Scholl's, this and that. I've tried them all. I've tried them all. Nothing works. All right. This is a Thorogood boot. This Thorogood boot, it has the crepe sole, but it has a regular insole. This right here, if I wear this all day long, hurts my feet. So what I have learned that works is a combination of a nice crepe sole, right? To me, the softer the better, but the harder ones work well too. This is a harder one, and it would work well too if it had those leather insoles. Well, how do you get those leather insoles into a boot that doesn't come with those leather insoles? Well, you get to know a cobbler, a good cobbler. And you know what? Good cobblers cost money. So if you're not prepared to spend, then like I said, just, suffer with your aching feet. Don't complain about your cobbler costing too much money. They work hard and they deserve to get paid. What I had my cobbler do is make up 2 pair of these insoles. You can see it's dual compound. We've got this thick, I don't even know what to call it. He has a name for it, but it's thick, full grain leather, something like that. And then on the underside, it's cork. Leather and cork. Now I haven't had to use these. These cost me $45 for a pair of these. And I got 2 pair, but these have never been used because I just keep recycling the first pair, And you want to know what Bodie, this is going to explain a lot of why this shit works. You want to know what Bodie's foot looks like? That right there. Look how it molds perfectly to my foot. All that, it started life exactly like this. And then through use and wear, it molds into this. And this shit is so damn comfortable. It's slick as can be. It's slick, and so it has this really natural cooling effect. It's easier for you to slide your foot into your boots. It's absolutely fantastic. It is the best insole that money can possibly buy. Look at that. You can even see a little bit my toes, right? This is magical. And then you combine that with a squishy crepe sole. Now this right here, I don't know the name of this, but basically there are 2 soles for this one boot, right? They have to be purchased separately. Now, if you wanted to get these that are on the Thorogoods, you can buy those. It's a pair that's pre-made just like that with dual compound. But if you want something like this, which is extra squishy, it's really nice and soft, okay? Really nice and soft. You have to buy it. This is Vibram, and you'll know it when you see it. It's like, I'll insert a picture here, right? It's like in old man shoes, right? But I had him take that, sand it down, and then glue this external sole over top of it. And what I came up with is the most magical boot I have ever slipped my foot into. I can wear these boots all day long, and they don't hurt my feet. I've never, ever, ever, ever had such a good boot. All right. So what is this boot? What's the brand of this boot? Blah, 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 blah. Well, let's see if I can. It's Addison Shoe Company. All right. But what it is it's a military boot. Right. This is a steel toe, capped steel toe. And it's just a military boot that was made for utilitiesmen or civil engineers. Fuck balloons. Anyways, it's made for people in the military that require steel-toed boots. This is the kind of stuff that they get issued to them while they're in like electrical training or HVAC training, things like that. Whenever they need a steel-toed boot, they might get something like this. I got it off of eBay. And I think for the boots themselves, I paid like $50. It was like $57 shipped to me. If you're buying these boots, what you need to understand is that, or any of these military boots, you know what I'm talking about. They're like government issued military boots. They're going to have this problem for me. It may not be for you. This part right here is too low, and it digs into the arch of my foot, the top of my foot. And so basically boots tend to run big, and so you buy them a size smaller if you're buying good boots, that is, like Red Wings or Thorogoods, stuff like that. So like in tennis shoes, I'll wear an 11 and 11 and a half in tennis shoes. But in boots, 10, maybe 10 and a half, you know. Oh, fuck, I hate that. Anyways, so you would probably buy more likely closer to what you would get in tennis shoes, size-wise. And the way I do it, I find 2 pair, I buy them both, and I send back the ones that don't fit. So these, even though in the Red Wing stuff, 10D. In these military boots, the government-issued military boots, I tend to wear an 11, a full size bigger than I normally would, which lines up with your tennis shoe size. But I do have extra area in the toe, but in order to get it to fit right because of this bridge right here, I have to get them longer. So anyways, they fit great, and I'm not complaining about the fit at all. I'm just trying to give you a heads up if you want to copy what I've done. Buy them the same size that you would buy your actual sneakers, like Nikes and Reeboks and stuff like that. What else? So $57 to get them. And then I went ahead and I wanted these Kilties, all right, because I was making logging boots, right? Kilties, really, honestly, they do nothing for you. They're just there because of aesthetics at this point. Used to, you needed them to keep sawdust and things of that nature out of your boot, right? But, I mean, they do that to an extent. That's what they're for, is to keep debris out. But honestly, it's just for looks. But I bought these, and I think they're from Drew's Boots. I got them on Amazon and shipped to my door. They were like 30 bucks. And I thought that was expensive because I bought them and they were like $15. But then shipping on top of that was another $15. I was like, what? Anyways, also something to keep in mind is they come with 2 holes. You can see them right there. And you slide your shoestring in there. What I found was with those 2 holes, that Kiltie, it goes all the way up to here. You see that? It would slide all the way from one side to the next. So what I did to remedy that is I put a second set of holes. See? Boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I ran my shoelaces through them. That way, it held it in place and it kept it from going left to right. Perfect. Great, right? I'm the smartest man alive. My God, I came up with the best insole ever to exist, and I found out a way to fix the Kiltie to keep it from sliding from side to side. Totally works. Just put an extra set of holes in there and run more shoelaces through it. Now you got to pick where you put them. You really do. You really got to pick where you put them so that that string, or this string, you know, goes right in the hole and then can come out and go through like this. So it's not just as, you got to look. You got to look and aim for it. And then the other thing is the shoelaces. So most people, it's odd to me. I have to ask the question. I'm like, have you ever had real speed lace boots? And most people are like, yeah, because they think that these little hooks are speed laces, right? That's not speed laces at all. I'll give you a demonstration, but let me finish here. You need to have really long shoelaces, and you need to put them in and cut them off and tie knots right here so that they never actually come out. These shoelaces, I had to spend money on them, man. I had to spend money. I think they cost me 20 or 30 bucks for these shoelaces. I could be wrong. Maybe they were 15 or 10, but I'll put that in the video as well. But you got to have good shoelaces. If you have the big fat cotton shoelaces, not going to help you. Speed laces require these thin, really hard shoelaces, and they need to be really long so that you can set up your boots properly. You'll see here in a minute. And then finally, this sole, right? Now my cobbler, and find a good cobbler. Okay, now if you don't have a good cobbler, or if you've never used a cobbler, you may not know if you got a bad cobbler. But a cobbler, they range with anything, you know, just like anything. You got your standard, not so good, and medium, your really good ones. My cobbler's a really good one. And so this is a prime example. Whenever he tore this boot apart in order to re-sole, he noticed that it had an aluminum shank in it. And he said, I went ahead and put you a steel shank in that. They had an aluminum one, but I figured since you might be doing some climbing with spurs and stuff like that, I would go ahead and upgrade and put you in a steel shank. That's what I'm talking about with a good cobbler. Anyways, so can't say enough about these boots. If you want to replicate these boots, you just look for military boots, find the style that you like, right? And oh, another thing, it's hard, there's replica boots. One of the easiest ways to tell if it's replica boots is the seller or the advertisement stuff. Maybe it's a used or it's a new old stock boot. But if it seems too good to be true, it's a brand new boot and you're getting it for $35, it's probably cheap and you don't want it, okay? But there's two ways to really tell if you don't have military experience. The guys that have military experience can spot them, right? Number one, of course, the advertisement is a new old stock, right? So that is typically, or is it used? Don't be hesitant to buy a used boot, because most of these things that are government issue, they wear them for 6 or 8 weeks while they're in technical training. And then as soon as they get to their first base, they either buy a more stylish pair of boots or it's issued to them and these just go in a closet. And so they're barely worn anyway. So don't worry about it. They're already broken in. Glory be to God, right? Don't have to go through the damn break-in process. But the other thing to look for is this right here. Notice how this is slightly padded, right? The good boots will have slight padding, okay? They tend to have it, all right? So look for that. All right, now for the test, the actual slip it on thing. I want to show you about these speed laces. Put my insert back in. How am I going to do this? Well, I guess we're just going to put the computer right there on the floor. Oh, I forgot to mention the Birkenstocks. That's another thing that you can do. Buy yourself a pair of Birkenstocks. Birkenstocks have these weird humps right in the middle of the foot. You can't really make it out on camera, can you? There's a hump right there. And whenever you first start wearing your Birkenstocks, you hate that hump. It's terrible. It's uncomfortable and you don't like it. Well, this is a part of that effort thing. Get you a pair and force yourself to wear them. Now, if your feet start hurting, don't be afraid to take them off, but give it a couple weeks. And this right here somehow trains the muscles in your feet, right? And it's better for your foot. I don't know how, I just know that it is. And once you get your foot used to these Birkenstocks, you will also have less foot pain whenever you wear anything else, because these are training, it's basically giving your foot better posture. So if you can force yourself to wear these until they feel really, really comfortable, then you have retrained your foot to have better posture, okay? Now, on with the boot. So whenever you take the boot off, I'll go ahead and show you right here. See how long those are? Really, really long. Got to wrap them all the way around. That's because whenever you take them off, you go like this. That's what those knots are for. Those knots are to keep it from coming out. Come right off like butter. Now, whenever you go back on, here's the speed lacing, man. It's so nice. All right. Now, I got the kilties. You got to make sure that your kilties are in place before you do this. So, without the kilties, they're good. There you go. Tight. I didn't have to do any crazy back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Watch that kiltie. See? You got to make sure you tuck that in. And now once it's in and secured, you just pull. Look at that. Nice and tight. This is ideal. Now watch this. Look at that. They are so ridiculously comfortable, guys. Seriously. These are the ultimate logger boots. I don't care about your whites, Drews. What's the other one? I think there's JK. So, rounding this up, let's look at the money that it cost me to make these boots. Purchase price, 60 bucks, let's say that, off of eBay. You might find them a little bit more expensive or a little bit less. I got them for 60 bucks. Shipped to my door, they were like 57. The kilties, 30 bucks. So, $90. The shoestrings, let's go with 20 bucks. I can't remember what I paid for them, but so now we're at 110, all right, $110 in these boots. Then I got them resold. Wait, no, first let's talk about this, all right. These, I get them for $45 for a pair of them. So we're at $155. Then I got them resold, and the resoling was 150 bucks. So we're at $305. $305 for a pair of boots that are going to last me as long as I need them to last. And if I have to have them repaired, well, I can get them repaired, right? Okay. Whereas any of your big brands are going to be bare minimum $300 a pop right out the gate, you know. And I think the cheapest logger boots, good logger boots. I've had Georgia boot logger boots. Those are shit. Don't tell me that they're good boots. Those are trash. So, anyways, I'm used to really good boots, guys. And once you get used to good boots, like these are so sturdy and thick and awesome. The Georgia boot was just flop central, you know. There's no support in those boots whatsoever. None. I don't care how tight you get them. You roll your ankle immediately. Anyways, I think the cheapest, decent quality, real logger boots, real ones, not made in China bullshit and stuff, are Danner. Danner makes a pair that looks really good. I've never owned them, but they look great. They look like they're high quality, and they're about $365 for a pair, I believe. These right here, I would bet anything Broken in to broken in, these are going to be more comfortable. And I was able to purchase them in stages because I know, to me, that's important. Because dropping $400 or $500 on a pair of boots, what? But dropping 70 on the boots, and then dropping 30 on kilties and 20 on shoestrings is a lot easier to do. It happens over time. Okay, so I like that. And then finally, in conclusion, my feet get hot like crazy. So, what do? Suffer? Mostly, yes. Mostly. But I have learned that good wool socks and alpaca socks work great for keeping your foot cool. I know, sounds contrary to what we know, right? But those sweat wicking socks, all that bullshit just doesn't work. It's just marketing hoopla. But you know what does work? Good old-fashioned wool socks or alpaca socks. Alpaca socks are the best because they're not itchy like wool. But I think as far as keeping your feet cool, they probably would work just as well. But I'm wearing hollow socks. And, you know, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go, wow, you should get those and stuff like that. But they are pretty great. But they were like $20 for a pair of socks. One pair. But they do this thing where they hype it and they're like, you don't have to wash them every day. Guess what? They're fucking right. You don't have to wash them every day. At the end of the day, the socks might be somewhat wet, but I guess they're like antimicrobial or something like that. You know, there's a quality to the alpaca wool that's like, they don't stink. And like literally, yeah, I did a test and I wore mine for like 7 days in a row, and honestly, they were fine. I still, though, you know, I've reverted to, you know, every 2 or 3 days, I'll wash the socks, but they're not like cotton socks. They're not like cotton socks. Cotton socks will stink to high heaven if you don't wash them daily, you know, so yeah, I'd say give them a shot, you know. All of this stuff wrapped up together really leads to good foot care, and you will be happier. And I hope that you guys have learned something. It's been a long video, I know, but I had a lot to talk about with it. I am a full-on believer in two things, all right? Boots, quality, of course, but two big things that you can really do. Get you a pair of these made. Cork on the bottom side. I think it's full grain leather. Something there's a name for it. Strap leather, strop leather, or something like that. But on the top. And get you some good crepe soles. These right here are hard, you know, and they still offer good comfort. But I would recommend, if you're wanting to go with as comfortable as possible, go with this right here. These are really soft, and then you have nice on the outside. Nice tread and everything. And this, don't disregard this. I'm not kidding. Cheap Birkenstocks do not have that hump in the middle. They're not molded like that. There's the fake Birkenstocks. They're just flat, just like flip-flops or something. There we go. Yeah, you can see the hump there. Really nice. That hump's a pain in the ass. I don't like it. But it's training your foot. Training your foot to have better posture. And once your foot gets that better posture, then they become nice. Quite nice. You know, it's like, I wear these as my house shoes, you know. So I used to wear Crocs, but now these are my house shoes. Anyways, hope that worked for you guys. Lots of blabber, but it was a lot of information. Hopefully I was able to share something And like Corey, I know that you had said something about, your feet hurting, buddy. I'm telling you, do this. You don't have to get a pair of military boots or anything like that. Just get you those insoles and make sure that they have a decent crepe sole, and you'll probably be good. It really helps. Later.